Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and I wanted to start this video by showing you a really good tweet from Green Eggs and Ham. This is Sam I Am. He's also to the Lifeboats on YouTube. He did a really good tweet here. So the COMEX, the largest U.S. precious metals market, is so bankrupt they're refusing to release the details of the LBMA, London counterpart, backstopping their fraud. This is why the paper market is 10 to 25% lower than physical, because they don't have it. In other words, they don't have the gold. And he's retweeting this out from Bullion Star. COMEX secures secrecy agreement with CFTC under FOIA not to release details to the public of its market maker program, the new 400-ounce gold futures contract hatched with LBMA, because disclosure would likely cause competitive harm to COMEX. Program begins tomorrow, which is today, April 13th. And this is the documentation from this. It's a letter from this Christopher Kirkpatrick, Freedom of Information Act protection, confidential treatment requested by COMEX. And then it's got the gold enhanced delivery futures market maker program, a request for confidential treatment. And then as you go, I guess this is the confidential part. And then CME Group, and down here it's got disclosures would likely cause competitive harm to COMEX, And then right here it says implementation of gold enhanced delivery futures market maker program. To implement gold enhanced delivery futures market maker program, proposed program will be effective today. So you can you have to wonder what's going to harm them so bad. I mean, for years and years and years, folks, everybody's been saying these guys don't have the gold, that all this paper that they're putting out there, they don't have the gold. It's not a one-for-one thing, and it's now being seen. No telling what this could do to the price of not just gold, but crypto as well, when people realize it's all been a game. Michelle Vandenberg sent me this from Peter Schiff. If you think the price of gold is expensive now, that it's above 1,700, wait another week and see how expensive it is in relation to the amount of money the Fed has already printed and the amount it's about to print. Gold at today's price is one of the best bargains one can buy. And Peter Schiff's right, but I think that you're going to see crypto get involved in this as well. And then XRP Bart sent me several things today. One is from the SEC. In the coming weeks, public companies will be issuing earnings releases and conducting analyst investor calls. Chairman Clayton and Director Hinman outlined how they can best provide information to investors regarding their current status in light of the situation. Chairman Clayton and Dr. Hinman, there is broad support for this national full mitigation response to the current situation, but also broad recognition that our strategy must evolve to effectively address health risks while fostering a meaningful, responsible increase in economic activity. Well, good luck, SEC, on that, because this next clip will blow a lot of you away. Listen to what she says about the current situation. It's 4 to 6:05.
So E-Tran is up and moving, and they've got about $200 billion through that pipeline. Now the question is, where's the funding coming from? And in fact, the funding comes from the banks and their balance sheets. So I'm not sure why they haven't pressed the button and transferred the cash. Part of it is they're kind of worried they're going to run out of money on their balance sheet, and they want to see this Fed facility up and running. And I did hear this weekend that might take 10 days, and we do not have 10 days. Also, for the fintechs, they don't have a lot of money on their balance sheet, so they have to line up the cash. Now, they're pretty good. They've been working for 2 weeks on the tech. You know, they're getting the 200 people at coding all weekend and all week, and they're going to be fine on the front end in processing, but they've got to get the cash flowing as well. So this is the week of the cash. But I do want to shout out to those frontline SBA workers and bankers and small business owners who, you know, are counseling and helping small businesses. This is overwhelming, and we will get through it. Small business owners will help each other through it as well.
How many, even in a best case scenario, as we see the money flowing, and let's assume that Congress agrees more money for this program, how many businesses in the United States do you think close and never reopen, or decide they simply can't make it through this process? How many are we talking? Because we have 30 million small and medium-sized businesses in this country. How many do we lose?
No, I'm really worried about this. And I've said, although it's just a guess, you know, we could lose 20% of our small business owners. There's a lot who are on the edge anyway, and they could just decide, you know, this is too much for me. I'm going to turn away from my business and do something else. And the problem is, we saw this in 2009. When we lose our small business owners in our economy, it's very hard to start them up again.
20% of the small businesses in America, and I think that's around 6 million small businesses, is I believe what that number comes out to. You're talking about a Great Depression of a Great Depression, folks. Just write it down, because it's coming. I can't believe that they have done, I really can't believe that this has been allowed to happen. I just can't believe it, but it's happening. And so, and then she follows it up here, Julia Chatterley. Essential addition to PPP scheme. The challenge remains that these lenders also must get authorization from overwhelmed SBA to issue cash. Too much volume, paperwork. Alternative, direct lender access to the U.S. Treasury cash with TNC to get cash to desperate SMEs faster. So I just wanted to show you that. Now, this is a tweet that I tweeted out. As I told you yesterday, I had gone back and I was looking at some older Hodor blogs, because he did such good work on the Hodor blogs, and then he disappeared. I don't know what became of him, but he left the Twitterverse and the blogosphere. But this is one of the tweets that he tweeted out back in October 15th of 2017 that some of you may not have been aware of. It's called the RippleNet Accelerator Program, following closely on the heels of the announcement for XRP, which is now ODL. Ripple announced the RippleNet Accelerator Program. This program will reward financial institutions that are the first adopters of RippleNet technology. The reward will be in either USD or XRP, depending on the choice of the financial institution in question. And then it goes on. The idea was modeled on PayPal's early program for referral bonuses, and it promises to speed adoption of Ripple tech across a variety of Ripple's potential customers. It falls in lockstep with previous statements that Ripple has made regarding its planned usage of the monthly release of XRP from its escrow lockup, and should yield significant benefits to XRP holders long-term as more and more banks and financial institutions opt to participate due to the incentive. And then it goes on. Monica Long, Vice President of Marketing at Ripple, noted, since we're offering the incentives in XRP, we anticipate seeing an added benefit of building an easy on-ramp for institutions to use XRP in their payment flows to lower liquidity costs in the future. Early reception of these XRP incentives in a test phase has been very positive. While banks and financial institutions will benefit from cost savings associated with XRP, the addition of large-scale incentive like the accelerator program serves to significantly augment existing levels of interest. Now, folks, this goes right hand in hand. I've always said, and Brad Combs had come up with his pre-allocation theory. They wanted these financial institutions to have skin in the game so that they too benefit from the XRP price. That's why we believe that it's been pre-allocated a lot more than we know. That's just one of the many reasons. Okay, now moving along. This was a tweet from Matthew Liney. Trade win, Canadian Mint to verify origins of precious metals on R3 Corda blockchain. Now, this is what you're going to see begin to happen is the gold holdings and all are going to be much more transparent. You're not going to have these problems as we go forward. Now, how they get out of the current problem, I don't know, but you have to wonder what is going to happen with the gold prices because these guys obviously don't have the gold they say they have. So going forward, I believe it's going to be transitioned over, and all this is going to be on the blockchain, so there won't be any question about who holds what. Okay, next from Chinu Patel at Chinu Patel 29. Couple of meetings to be aware of from James Rule XRP. Let me see if I follow this guy. Yes, I do. IMF virtual spring meetings, April 14th to the 15th, 2020, live webcast. There's 2 live webcasts. I think a couple of, or they're going to do it for 2 days. They're going to be doing, there's a lot of things going on at the IMF. Pay close attention to the IMF, folks. Michael at VAL5 Links sent me this. This is interesting from Stephen Bull from the DIA. He tweeted this out today. Breaking: Western Union is testing and considering the use of XRP. Source is this from Credit Suisse. Look at this. This is Credit Suisse down here. You'll see from January 24th, 2020. Western Union testing and considering use of Ripple XRP for cross-border. Ripple has made a $50 million investment in Western Union competitor MoneyGram. What did we say when the MoneyGram thing said? We said, what must the competitors to MoneyGram be thinking? Well, here's what they're thinking, folks. This is a big deal right here. All right. Michelle Vandenberg sent me this. Another one from Stephen Bull from the DIA. Bang, bang. Proof that Ventobel Limited is investing in Bitcoin, Ethereum, and XRP. Financial institution wave is coming to the crypto space. Ventobel Limited is a company incorporated under the laws of Hong Kong, and it's licensed by the Securities and Futures Commission to carry out Type 1 dealing in securities, Type 2 dealing in futures contracts. It's wholly owned by Ventobel Holding AG, a company established under the laws of Switzerland and listed on the SIX Swiss exchange. And here is the proof. Ripple XRP, they got Litecoin, Ethereum. Let's see what else they have. Anything else interesting here? Amazon. Okay, so there's your proof. All right, now I'm going to finish this video out with a few interesting things that I thought you would like. I wanted to revisit with a little bit of video and some pictures some of the people that are on Ripple's board of directors. I'm going to start down here with Anna Manuel. I've talked about her before, and we're going to talk a little more. First, I want to show you this clip. This is from her doing a TED Talk on September the 9th, 2019.
Companies, Fairchild Semiconductor, Varian, and others did this. Within reason, we must become patriots again, rather than just fixating on becoming unicorns. Together, thank you. Together, we can bend history. And if we create a level playing field, we can even cooperate with China on tech that helps all of us. Solar, wind, biotech, things that help all humans. We're a magnanimous people with big ideas. We're being called on now to make a once-in-a-generation effort to steer technology in the right direction. Let's get started.
Okay, and now I want to show you a video of her from 2018 during Swell.
We're in a really unique space here because if you go back to the origins of the internet, of course, it came through DARPA and through several well-respected US universities. And in a way, we adopted a multi-stakeholder approach, but the US dominated the conversation about how to regulate the internet. And here, we're just not. There's a huge amount of innovation here in the US, but I think our regulators have been a little bit slow off the mark. And so, a huge amount of innovation in China and elsewhere. And so you see Liechtenstein leading the way, which would have been unheard of for the internet. Let me ask you one other important thing, because you work with central bankers all around the world. There has been a lot of talk about central bank issued digital currencies. And to those of us former government officials, we think, Venezuela, good luck. You have hyperinflation with your real currency. I don't know how your digital currency is going to be any better. But you also feel a little bit worried because, in a way, the US and the West, the US and Europe, have been so powerful at imposing sanctions on places like Iran and North Korea because we control the world payments and banking systems. And so many of those sanctions are enforced by companies having to say, well, if I want access to the US financial system, I'm going to stop doing business with Iran. And as you see this move towards sovereign issued digital currencies, central banks getting into the act, do you worry about what happens to sanction regimes, or are you optimistic about it? Jaded. Thank you, Sunil.
Thanks for the time, Anya. Thank you.
Makes you wonder if you remember yesterday when I was showing you about the Ripple's job posting where they had, it was for economic sanctions department. It was like their economic sanctions department. And this woman who is extremely connected on the world stage, and she is a foreign policy person. She goes around the world. And also something else that you might find interesting. She is, the company that she is with is Rice Hadley Gates. And yes, that would be that Condoleezza Rice, who was the Secretary of State under George W. Bush and still has access to the White House, as you can see. That's the Condoleezza Rice we're talking about. And so Anna Manuel, I'm guessing, has a pretty great deal of influence. And here's the sanctions thing that I just mentioned. This was from Hoder's blog. So you have Anna Manuel on stage at Swell 2018 and wants to know about how this would affect sanctions. And then you've got back, I think this was in 2017, Hoder's writing about how this immutable ledger could help the IMF with sanctions. And then you've got, on the next slide here, you've got Ripple hiring someone for their economic sanctions program. All right. So I just wanted to mention all that about Anna Manuel. And now I'm going to show you a couple of more things. Now, remember, this is Ripple's board. We've got Anna Manuel. We also have Craig Phillips. So Anna Manuel, just through her, just a couple of degrees separation from, Condoleezza Rice. So that's a direct plug-in all the way to the White House, right? The previous White House, one of the previous White Houses, as well as the current one. We also have this Craig Phillips down here, and he was a counselor to Secretary of State Steve Mnuchin, and you've seen this picture. So there's another correct connection straight from Ripple's board all the way to the top. And then the last one that I just really love talking about is the one that might be one of the biggest there, and that's Ken Kurson. I showed you the other day, this guy is friends with Jared Kushner, who is Trump's son-in-law. I showed you the picture, I think it was at the State of the Union, where he's leaning over talking to Ivanka Trump. And I thought, well, we may as well show you one more good picture of him. And this is Ken Kurson that's on Ripple's board standing in the Oval Office. Thought that picture might be interesting to look at. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe and hit the like button and tell your friends and family that there's a guy on Ripple's board of directors and there's a picture of him standing right there in the Oval Office. I've never been in the Oval Office. Have you? Thank you for listening.